All right. Well, we're live and podcasting. We're starting. Welcome to Becoming Bestsellers. I am Paul Reddick. That is, who are you, sir? What's your name again?
You talking to me? You're talking to the other
Yeah, I'm
guy?
talking to you. Who do you think I'm talking to, pal?
Who am I? Oh my God. Well,
Yeah,
in order to find that
we're
out,
all searching for that.
I had to read Joel's book to find out who I was. There's a whole chapter called "Who Am I?"
Who am I? What are we doing? Why am I
Yeah.
here?
So I read Joel's book, then I had to go to confession, and then it's like, okay, I now I know who I am. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, hello, viewers
So that
and
priest
listeners.
must have quit, huh?
The priest, he had to go to confession after I went to confession.
That priest sat down outside, sitting on the steps, just smoking a cigarette, going,
I
That's
think
right.
"Whoa."
My priest was the guy who made marijuana legal in Canada.
Was that after your confession?
Yes, yeah.
Right.
Oh
Remember
my
George
God.
Carlin? Bless me,
course.
Father, for I have sinned. I have touched myself in an impure manner, impure thoughts, impure deeds. So, and when's Joel get here?
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie Heaven Help Us about the an all boys Catholic school which I went to, and they're in line for confession, and it's the guy who played Johnny Drama on Entourage is going through the line with their lists and going, "You lied 12 times, you know, 13 times. Oh, geez. Okay, change that to 4. Add another lie." And he's auditing their confessions.
Hey, there's a business. We could sell absolution, you know?
Yeah,
There
I
you
got a guy
go.
in Union who do anything. If you want to be confirmed, $50, paperwork, stamp from the Vatican, everything, get you everything.
I love it.
All right,
Hey,
well, welcome to the podcast, everyone.
yeah, I'm
Welcome to the
excited
podcast.
about this guy, this third guy here.
I'm excited about him too. So,
Oh, my
if
goodness.
you are welcome to Becoming Bestsellers, I'm Paul Reddick. That's Barry Spilchuk. Our very special guest today is Joel Weldon. If you can see this on video, you'll see that I'm holding up a copy of his book, You Are the Message, which is a bestseller. And the thing that I looked up, oh, wait a minute, I looked it up and then I put it away because I wanted to give a good introduction here. So Joel is an author extraordinaire. I've looked it up. To be an extraordinaire is usually, we are not talking about raw talent alone, but pointing to a rare and unique combination of traits that show up consistently in the character and work of the person.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
And I
is-
heard that extraordinaire means you can charge more too.
Yeah, oh,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. I love that part.
Yeah.
Wow.
So his book is called You Are the Message. You can go to youarethemessagebook.com at any time, really, anytime you'd like. But we're here to talk about this book. Joel, we've been friends for how long now? 2 years
Oh,
or so?
several years, Paul. Several years. Yeah. Yeah. It's been and I have to say, you know, I'm just honored to be with you guys. I mean, both of you. You don't even realize this, Barry, but you've impacted my life as well. Just being part of the gang and watching how you work and watching your heart is just awesome. And aside from Paul, you know what I mean? But your heart is great, man. So it's really great.
He
And
tells me
Paul,
how to have my
yeah.
heart set. So I'm an obedient little Canadian.
I love it.
Well,
Stressing
before we
little.
get to, let me give you your official, because as you've probably heard, Joel has the voice of an angel.
Yes.
And he's a nationally recognized voice actor, speaker, coach, musician. You've heard his voice. If you've ever had the craving of a Carl's Jr. burger, probably was Joel. If you ever needed a Ford F-150, because your man card, to punch your man card, it was probably Joel. If you were excited by an NHL game or moved to Faith by Greg Laurie, Andy Stanley, or any of these, you heard Joel's voice. So you could, so Joel he's an extraordinaire. So let's talk about, Joel, we're here to talk to you and to kind of extract your wisdom and talk about this book. Who do you think you are to write a book? Let's start there. Who do you think you are?
It's the great adventure, I must say. I never thought I'd be an author, you guys. I mean, and I've told people this, it's like, you know, I'm great at the speaking thing, and I can read copy all day long and do great at that. I can write a song, I could do that and perform it and all this stuff. But write a book? I mean, I never would have thought I'd have written a book. And then suddenly, if you guys want to hear the story, I'll keep it short here. Okay. My
We've
friend,
got time. You don't have to keep it short. That's what we're here for, the stories, Joel.
Okay. All right. So this is how it worked out. Bob Phillips, I've known him from years back. He and I have gone back. Our families have been friends for years. And Bob hit me up. Probably it was just after COVID had hit, and everybody's online. All the college students can't go to class, so they're all just dreading life, going on a Zoom call to watch their class. And a couple of his family college students ended up enrolling in my voice acting class online. I used to teach them in Hollywood. I'd go to Burbank. I'd go to Santa Monica one night a week. And there'd be 10 people in a room. We kept it small, very interactive. We're at a studio like Mark Grau, famous places, And we're in the evening, and people would sign up for these courses. We'd be there for 3 hours learning about voice acting, right? Well, what makes a voice magnetic? What makes it effective? What makes it repelling? All those kind of things go into the voice acting craft, right? How do you embrace a character in an animated piece? So all that stuff, we would talk about that, and we would work out these students. And usually the courses would go for 5 weeks, one night a week. Well, COVID hits, literally all the studios in LA, Hollywood, they all shut down. It's like, nope, no more. I'm a SAG-AFTRA member, right? So I get the notice, all the studios are closed. Nobody, everybody's masking, stay away. Well, I have a studio here, and a lot of my work happens out of my studio. Well, suddenly I'm getting a lot of work, and now I've got people going, "Hey, the classes are canceled over in LA. Do you want to just do them over Zoom? We're stuck. We want to do some stuff." So all these people sign up for my online classes, and I've got 10 to 12 students. Well, they take the classes, and then Bob hits me up, probably about 7-8 months into COVID, and he goes, "Listen, whatever you did to my grandsons, to my family here, and I know they're not the only ones. It's happening with other people. We need to write a book about it." Now, my first response is, yeah, right. Well, Bob has written literally over 100 books, and he's the guy that you'll see him next to John Maxwell or Barry Spilchuk, in the book rack at the airport. And here's Bob Phillips with all of his books, and he goes, "I'm going to help you write the book." And I said, "Okay, let's go." And that was about 4 years ago. Finally, we get to the end of the book process. It was very, for me, I'm just used to doing a creative thing and cranking it out. But Bob is really, really good at capturing all the detail and the nuance. And we wanted this to be a very comprehensive book, right? So it just got released in September, and we are thrilled that, it's about speaking skills. It's about taking all the voice acting stuff, all the years of performing on a stage as a Christian rock artist, and I thousands of concerts over the years. You take all that stuff together, and then Bob's experience teaching some of the most difficult situations in the world, government entities and stuff. He's been under pressure performing and speaking. He's got a whole different side of things. So we combined it all, put it in a book, and here it is. And it's just been a thrill. I mean, I'm an author. What? I'd add that to my list. It's really crazy. An extraordinaire. I don't know about that part.
Extraordinaire.
But yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. That's how it began, though, and that's how it came about.
So you've got a chapter in there, or I'm sorry, it's not a chapter. It's a story within a chapter, is Becoming a Soul Brother. What does that one mean? Why is that important for our listeners?
A lot of what we don't realize is that you and I, all of us, we are living, breathing human beings. All right, we be. And a lot of people, you just take that for granted in the morning. You get up, you go about your work and your business and your life and your family, and you forget that you have a very unique life. It's extraordinary. It's magical. It is supernatural. People go, "Well, that's natural." No, take a look in the mirror. Take a look in the mirror and look at yourself in the eye, and look at how your eye works and how your body coordinates together. And you go, "I'm sorry, but man, I'm a man of faith," because the evidence is all around me. So when it comes to being a soul brother, you kind of got to recognize who you are as a person. and that it is incredibly valuable and it is worth sharing with the world, right? It is. If you look at yourself and you go, "Oh, I'm not, I'm just not worthy." And it happens all the time. We doubt ourselves, everything else. But really when it comes down to you sharing you, even if you affect one or two or three people in your lifetime in a good way, in a positive way, in an encouraging way, and you advance their humanness, oh my word, then you've accomplished something. And every one of us has that ability. So anyway, I get passionate about it. But yeah, you gotta recognize who you are deep inside and say, I want more of this, and I want people to know more of this.
Yeah. Paul, do you mind if I ask him one more question? Because
Go
it
ahead.
piggybacks right on this. Joel, when I wrote my book, The Cancer Dance, what to do when
Yeah.
cancer catches you with your pants down,
Yep.
I was happy to release it and everything, but there came a program behind it. And then I've helped 150 authors get their books out there. And invariably, I'd say, I don't want to exaggerate half, but at least a third of them get to this dilemma. And because of your faith and your background, and it's the answer to this question: God healed me for free. How dare I charge for my stuff? What? Yeah. How would you answer that for our listeners' view? Because it's a huge stuck point for a lot of people.
Yeah, that is a very good question, Barry. It's like you think, okay, am I proselytizing myself, prostituting myself out there because I'm taking my story and making money from it? But the bottom line is, even in Scripture, right? Paul writes in the New Testament, he goes, "Hey, a worker is worth his wages," right? Somebody, and we're talking a ministry worker he's referring to, and that goes for all of life. If you're going to invest your time and effort, yes, you're going to be generous. Well, you should be. If you're not, shame on you. You're going to be generous, but you know what? You're there for a reason. And if it's something that you're drawn to and you want to be able to get your message to the world, you have to make a living. And that's okay. It's all right that you do that. I mean, I think about even voice acting. All right. I put my voice on a Ford commercial and they pay me an unbelievable amount of money to do that. And I go, but you know what? When I get to do something for an organization like Compassion International or World Vision, and suddenly I'm almost just giving it away. But to me, I'm taking the same skills somebody pays me a lot of money for, and I'm helping an organization I believe in. And everybody needs to do that. I mean, man, if you don't give of yourself and volunteer, but you know what? In all of that, you have a right to make a living, and it's okay. Don't feel shameful about that at all.
Yeah, I'll go
Thank you
back to
very much.
the Mother Teresa quote. Empty plates don't feed starving people, and
Yep.
she was notorious for like going into a room full of rich people and just shaking them down, and like she was
Yep.
leaving with the bag,
Yep.
and so to me, I also feel like if we're there, how much, there's no virtue in martyrdom. We need fuel behind the things if they're going to go forward, and then there's a difference between profiting and profiteering. That's the thing
Yep.
was taught to me very early. Like I clicked on to watch just Hulu, a thing on Hulu this morning, and there is like, okay, the Rob Reiner story. There already a special on it, right? It's like that's profiteering.
Yeah.
That's icky. That's gross. All of a sudden, it just happened this weekend, right? 3 days later, you already got a show on it, and
Yeah.
just to me, that's where that's a clear crossing of the line. You're just using this terrible situation to get viewers to your thing. It's just
Yeah.
terrible. Joel, are you a person who likes to play games?
Listen, no games, all right? No, good. Let's play games. That's good.
Let's play. You are the message roulette, and I'm
Okay.
just gonna, and Barry's gonna tell me when to stop, and we're gonna stop on a topic, and we're gonna talk about it.
Stop.
Well, I wasn't ready, Barry.
Start.
All right. Okay. All right.
What would make him really stretch is let's play roulette with somebody else's book.
Ooh, that would be a challenge. That would be
Yeah.
that would be really good.
Okay. Fire right, Paul. Start.
Okay,
Start.
go ahead.
Start
Tell me when to
flicking.
stop.
Okay. Stop.
Okay. Let's talk about the fight or flight response, or the greatest fears among Americans. This is such a great, there's a great Jerry Seinfeld joke there.
It totally is. It totally is. Okay. Number one fear. It's not getting pulled over by a cop, right? It's not even like skydiving. That's really weird. I know, you think about it. The number one fear is you being put on the spot to deliver a message in front of a bunch of people where everybody's looking at you. It's you. And it's you. That's all it is. You. That's it. And it's like you're being put on the spot because you've got a job ahead of you, right? But suddenly everybody goes, oh my gosh, I'm terrified. And they literally, their heart rate just rises. Their blood pressure rises. Their stress level, that fight or flight response, you know what I mean? All of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I'm frightened. I got to get out of here. And that's what happens. And suddenly everybody goes, I can't do that. They think about that in nightmares. They wake up and then they think about it in the morning and go, I'll never do that. Right. And unfortunately, a lot of people, all it would take is a couple little steps of mind shifting to be able to go, the fight or flight response. I mean, we teach breathing techniques in the book that bring your heart rate down, you know, box breathing, super, super easy, super great principle. It literally slows your breathing down, slows your heart rate down, and it allows you to think beyond the fear, right? And suddenly you go, I have a mission ahead of me, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the plunge. And my heart rate might rise a little bit, but you know what? It's worth it because I've got something to share that's going to change people's lives. Bottom line, if I have something that I know is going to improve someone's life, right? I mean, Barry, your books are full of that. Paul, same with you. All of the books you guys have written, I'm like, that's why you do it, because you know it's going to be effective and change somebody's life, right? So suddenly that concern about what people think of me, oh my gosh, they're looking at me. I'm, you know, oh man, is my hair okay? Oh, I'm so ugly, man. I got a big zit on my forehead, right?
You've got great
like
hair.
They're
you've got movie star hair.
Yeah.
So
oh, thanks, bro. Whatever, bro. So anyway, the whole thing, whatever is like, they're going, you know what? If I can look beyond that and go, my mission is way more important than what they think of me, right?
Right.
And it's like, if in the book, it's just real easy. All caps, mission. Bold caps, mission. Greater sign, me in lowercase, because me, you're still a part of the equation. Okay. You don't just disappear. You're still part of it, but you're put in the proper place. My mission is way more important than what people think of me, bottom line. And if I can keep that attitude and I know I'm going to improve somebody's life, then don't shut up. Go. You do your thing, man. Just, you know, you're going to do it. Speak. But that's interesting that fear is always at the top. And you go, wow, that's a huge issue for all the centuries of mankind's existence, you know, crazy.
So do you want to
Yeah,
do the
we're always
Seinfeld
so worried
joke, or do you
about.
want- Oh, hold on, Barry. Do you want me to do the Seinfeld joke, or do you want to do it, Joel?
You do it. You do it, Paul. You do it, man.
So public speaking is number one. Death is number three. So if you're at a funeral, you'd rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy.
Exactly. It's true, man.
Well, when you introduced that and Joel started talking, at one point you sounded like Seinfeld. You had a Seinfeld inflection in your voice, Joel.
You know,
that was pretty
but growing up in this area during that time, I mean, that's like our Prince Harry in this area, Seinfeld. You know, he's the prince of, you know, the guy from Long Island that made it all the way.
Exactly. I love that.
Let me ask you this, Joel. Let me ask you this, because I had an experience, Barry, early on when Joel and I first met, and Joel went through his structure for delivering a talk. And then all of a sudden I wish I could go back and give every talk I ever gave again with this. Joel, because people being able to present their ideas, whether it's, you know, we think of it like a Zoom call like this, or a podcast, or a speech or something, or you performing as a musician or a speaker. But oftentimes it's just like getting up in front of your boss or in front of a room and talking about what your job is or what you want to present to the, you know, your work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not usually these grand things. But do you feel that if people were more educated and prepared, like you said, you've got I remember your C4 thing, which I have in front of me, still think about and use. I'd love to go over that if you want to. But then these breathing things, like, boy, if you were prepared and you had a little bit of some tools, you some of that fear would probably go down. Because I think like if you're able to get up in front of a boardroom full of people, which isn't actually in some respects is a little harder.
Oh, it is.
An audience, an auditorium full of people, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But you can get there and you can present your ideas with confidence. That kind of pumps you to the next level in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So some of the methodology that we teach in the book, and you referred to C4. It really has to do with how people connect with your presentation. Now, we all think of a presentation. I get up there and here's my 3 points and here's the sub points. I'm going to do my thing. Bottom line, I tell people, you know what? Just be yourself. Be who you are. Especially in this day and age. The days of the formal preacher in the pulpit years ago. There was today, there's certain elements of that are still there. Politics, stuff like that. But when it comes to you and I affecting somebody's life, and we're sitting in a room with 5 or 6 other people that we know, most of the time we know these people. They know us. They know my little quirks, because I've been working with them for how many years or months or whatever. So you're going up there and you're going, I'm just going to be myself. But here's the main thing. You have to know your material well enough, right? So that you could not have to read it, right? You want to be a bullet point guy, right? So it's called extemporaneous is the term. You want to be able to, here's the bullet point. I know it well enough. I could just talk about it, and I can throw in a bunch of ums and well, as I can just be myself. It's okay. If I'm going to be giving a presentation, I need to know that material really well, and I'm going to practice it. Now, here's the deal. A lot of people, they take their notes and they review it. They sit at a coffee shop and they review their notes. I always encourage people, especially when you're going to be speaking it, you're not going to be handing out the notes and saying, there's your notes, meeting's over. You're going to be speaking it. So what do? You rehearse it out loud. You've got to, especially when you're starting out. You need to be in a position where you know the material really well, and you're in a room with somebody you trust, or just by yourself, it's fine. Or you're in your car, doesn't matter. You're sitting outside a coffee shop, whatever. Just go for it and start talking. And I say, what? While you're practicing your presentation, record yourself. That's kind of scary. But if you sit there and you just put the video on and you record yourself, or the audio alone, it's fine. And record yourself, and you do it for 15 minutes. Take that whole thing all the way down, 15 minutes, right? Then go back and just spot check a few things and go, am I coming across okay? Because the bottom line is, when people hear you and you are all in and you care about your audience, right? And they can sense that you know your material. If you're reaching for all the points and go, what's my next point? So, man, you may as well just be a talking head or a GPT, right? Because now it's like this you got to make it yours. You got to know it. And you got to know, man, I can do this better if I practice it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then once I pour myself into it, people are going to connect with it. They're going to connect with me because I know what I'm talking about. And they're going to walk away with the stuff I want them to hold, right? Bottom line is, you're trying to deliver something they can walk away with and go, wow, that was great. Even if it's in a business setting and you're changing a new policy, whatever, you want them to understand it clearly, walk away and go, man, Paul knew exactly what he was talking about. Oh, Barry was great. It's like you could tell he just knew it so well, and he just made it so clear because you were yourself. You delivered it. Bottom line. Does that help?
Oh my God, Joel, you made so many points that, I want to start telling 50 stories off your story, but just to back it up, I was honored to be invited to be the closing speaker at the World Volunteer Conference. It was 93 countries, 2,700 people, and it was 4 days long. Prime Minister was there, a princess was there. I mean,
wow, so cool, Barry.
It was a big deal, and it was held in Canada, so Wayne Gretzky and Celine Dion were busy, so they said, well, get that chubby chicken soup guy.
Whoa. And Celine Dion, whoa.
Yeah, they were busy. So get the chubby chicken soup guy. So here I am.
Canadian.
I'm about to close this conference, and they come up and they say to me, oh, the interpreters need your speech. And I went, I can't give it to them. And they said, why? It's not written out. And they said, but what are the interpreters going to do? I said, well, I guess they're going to have to earn their money. They're going to have to pay attention.
They're going to be listening. Exactly.
So I'm standing backstage, and I'm in a yellow jacket, and I look like the Easter Bunny, and I've got a Winnie the Pooh tie, and I'm starting to get nervous because I'm closing this thing, right, on behalf of my country, and I going, Heavenly Father, what do I do? What do I do? And I get those two words that you said, be yourself. And it was like, and then I had this imaginary conversation with my best friend who said, be yourself. But I'm having this conversation. I said, yeah, but I'm goofy. And then I swear it was the Holy Spirit. Yeah, but they hired Goofy and they knew that. So just get out there and do your thing. So I had the prepared list and it was ready to go. So I just went out there and I beat Goofy. And I had them all stand up, 2,700 people, and they're doing, go Barry, and then like, go home, Barry. And then so I'm doing my thing and it's over. And when I looked at my notes on the podium, I didn't cover 90% of them. Because I did what you said. I got into the moment. I knew my stuff well enough, and we talked. And people laughed. They cried, and it was like, oh, it was the organizers. We have to pay this guy. Oh my God, they were the crying ones. But it was like, and so the point I'm trying to make here is, yes, you have to be yourself. And a lot of people, oh, I had so much I wanted to say I didn't say. They don't know what you didn't tell them.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And here's the other thing, Barry, that makes me think about another thing. You guys have experienced this too. When you have been presenting or speaking in a room, whatever situation, suddenly you realize that I'm feeling from the audience that I need to shift gears a little bit because I'm looking them in the eyes and the faces. If you're not, they tell you at Toastmasters, right? Toastmaster for years, how to give a presentation, blah, blah, blah. Don't look at them and look them in the eye. Look above their heads in the back and go side to side. And I go, that's a bunch of BS, man.
Yeah,
Don't
that
do
sounds
that.
terrible.
Okay?
Yeah.
Don't do that. When you're in front of people, this is a two-way conversation, even though you're the only one presenting, right? But there's times when you can get a response from the audience. You do this really good, Barry. I've seen you do it just over Zoom. Oh my gosh, man. It's like this thing, and then, what do you think of that? Just do this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like suddenly you got the audience because they're having fun connecting, knowing that you recognize them. You understand them a little bit more because you're feeding off of their energy in the room. And suddenly you do a little shift. And suddenly I'm going to go, I used to do this in concerts all the time, right? I would open up with a big energy song. I was a rocker. I was a, mullet guy rocker. I did a bunch of stuff.
The best kind.
It was Bon Jovi style. I was writing stuff that felt like Foreigner back in the day. And I had my tight jeans and the whole deal. But I would start out with the big lights, energy, boom, get the room going, right? Couple songs like that. And then at some point I would go, you know what? We're going to get a little bit personal here. And then I would stop it. And then I'd go to the front and go, and I'd tell a little bit of a story. A little story about happened in my life, or maybe how this song was written, right? Because a lot of people hear the song, they go, that's a cool song, but they don't really connect until they realize the backside of the story, and they go, oh my gosh, that's what that song's about. I mean, Paul, you've been coaching people in the music business for years. I know this is what you teach them because I've been following how you coach these people, and I'm going, it's brilliant. That kind of stuff is what connects people to the room.
This is a mistake people make. What people mistake is when they see a flawless performance, they think that's talent. Talent plays a part. It's one piece of the pie. But what you're really seeing is weeks. I just had a client have a really big kind of viral moment doing I can't say it, one of those little concerts that are kind of like in-house concerts. And
I know what they are. I watched it.
Yep. And it was the moment. It was the moment. And look at crushed it. No. Yes, crushed it. And 2 weeks of 4 or 5 times a day running through that until, listening to it in between, going on walks, listening to it. We got to cut this, tweak this. This doesn't sound. How do we make it more fun? So I'm a preparer like to the max. Where here's what I think, and I've one funny story. A couple of years ago, I was asked to do a baseball thing up in Massachusetts, and you can talk about whatever you want, Paul. Big mistake. Right?
Wow.
Big mistake, right? Just do whatever topic you want. I'd rather them say, we want to talk specifically about this, right? So I'm going to prepare and work it all the way till the morning of. I'm in my hotel room. I'm giving that speech 30, 40 times already. I'm seeing people in front of me. I've recorded it like you suggested. I'm on my walks listening to it. This doesn't work. That doesn't work. But they said, well, we need a title from you. And they needed it like a month before. I was like, I don't know. So I said, how to hit bombs, throw gas, and win more games. And so they introduced me like with that title. Here's the title. He's like, I can't wait to hear what he goes. I said, I forget the guy's name. I go, you said you needed a title. I gave you one. You didn't say that's what I needed to talk about. You didn't say that. So I gave you a title. And I said, now I'm going to try and deliver. But the thing is, like, I think one of the mistakes, first of all, there's nothing worse than the person turning with their back, kind of reading the PowerPoint to you. Oh, you just die a miserable death.
Oh,
there,
dude.
Right? Yeah.
Oh.
Or they're going back to their note cards. Because then you can't veer too far from the podium, right? Because you got your note cards and stuff like that. But as far as like the preparing goes, I think where people get in trouble sometimes is the time. Right? I've seen people say, I've got a tight 20 minutes. And I've seen that been like 6 or 40 minutes. They think they got an hour and they got 40 minutes and they pull up short. Or they think they got an hour and all of a sudden their 7-step plan, they're on step 2 at minute 39. Yep. And now they got to burn through the last. So some of that is timing. And that's where musicians are so good at this, because time and rhythm and those things create emotion, right? When these things are together. By the way, were you on the call the other day when we talked about Susan Rogers? Joel, you've got to buy this book. You have got to buy this book by Dr. Susan Rogers. She was the sound engineer and recorder for Prince.
Oh my word! Oh, so I heard a little bit, but then I had a session I had to jump off, so I couldn't hear.
Oh, you got to get. You're just gonna fall in love. Like you're just going to want to take out the pages and roll around in them. Wow. Like that's what it's like. It's
that's cool.
I mean, she hit record for Purple Rain.
Wow. That's crazy.
See, this is why I know I can't be trusted with big things. Because had I hit record on Purple Rain, I would have mentioned it 9 times already. Like, just say anything. Say anything, Joel. Just say any word. Any word. Just to pick a word.
All right. Final.
You know, the final time. Final is an interesting thing. That reminds me of the final session with Prince when we were working on Purple Rain. That's how everything.
Exactly.
I did the drive-through. You want fries with that? You know who loves fries? Prince. Yeah,
that's it.
With purple salt.
That's right. Oh, dude.
All right, let's play roulette again. Barry, you ready?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I already picked one.
No, pick another one, Barry.
No,
it's 3 chances.
No,
like the carnival, Barry. You got three chances.
So I'm the host, and you're the picker. Okay, so stop, because I've already picked one that I want him to talk about. But stop.
Speaking tip: laugh up and down your range. Ha ha, he, ho ho, ma. Achieve quality of volume throughout. Doing daily vocal exercises. You know, this is interesting. This is interesting to me, because if you're going to do it so what I know from musicians is that if they had to pick between brushing their teeth and doing their vocal exercises, and their teeth were going to fall out, they can go get new teeth. Yeah, they're going to do that. That's like before brushing, before all that.
Okay, I'm a voice actor, right? I'm a voice actor. I've been doing it for years. 25 years, going on, 27 years now. When I was a musician, you learned about, doing your scales. La, 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 you do the whole thing. You go into falsetto. The thing about, you've got that middle voice. You've got to be able to traverse it without break. When you're a teenage kid and you're, right? Well, most people, when they're singing, they have a really hard time not breaking at a certain point when they go into falsetto. Okay. So I learned this way back in music. So when you're doing music and you're singing, one super easy drill to learn is to start really high in a falsetto And then drop it all the way down. You're just going to use an ooh. Okay, so here we go. Ooh. There is no break because I controlled that muscle. You have to develop it. Same with women, guys, whatever. There's a break there. And if you don't work it, right, you're going to end up, you're not going to use it. And so what happens? It just kind of freezes up over time and it stays that way. Well, when you're growing older, to keep your voice so that I can still sell a Ford Escape, right? So I tighten up my voice. It's a little more, the target audience is a female between, 28 and 43, right? It's like, hey, this is how it is. The Ford Escape is totally redesigned, brand new for 2025. Don't miss the totally redesigned Ford Escape. Okay, so that's more towards the demographic of a friendly, thing. Now, if I'm going to sell a Ford F-150, it's a whole different thing. My voice has to be able to go down. See your Southern California Ford dealer today. Ford F-150, totally redesigned. You get the power you need, right? So it's a very different feel to it. And depending on my audience, my voice is going to go there. You don't think about it as a listener. You don't. You either feel something or you don't. Mm-hmm. And if you feel something that's going to drive you to do something, then I've done my job. Okay. The same with speaking in a conversation. The C4 you brought up, Paul. Okay.
Love it.
C4 yes. For anybody that, this is in the book too. There's all kinds of little methodologies that you could pick this one and say, wow, that's interesting. I want to practice that and just put it to use. Right. Paul, I got to tell you though, when you're doing your Zooms, I hear you going into C3, C5. Dude, I hear you do it.
I'm a fan.
I love it. So
I have it on it's one of my open documents.
That is so funny. Okay, so this is it. For all of you, this is it. I know you're fascinated. Here we go. Okay. C1, C2, C3, C4. Here's C1. Okay. Confidential voice. This has to do with how I project my voice, how I speak. Confidential means I don't want anyone else to hear this. This is confidential. Okay. C1. What happens in confidential voice? Well, it's almost like a secret is being told. And when you hear a secret and you're in 4th grade, oh my gosh, so he's telling a secret. It happens way back there. So you back off your voice a little bit. You get very personal. And this is for no one else to hear. Barry, this is for you. Listen, I know that you're struggling here. Okay, so when I'm in C1, that is like, boom, it's just me. And it's me and you, nobody else. Okay, C2, conversational. It's us having a podcast. We're doing our thing. We're talking about life. We're telling stories about, what happened in our life in the past or last week or the dog. I took it to the vet and this guy said, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just having a conversation. I could be at a coffee shop. I don't care if somebody else hears or not. Doesn't matter. We're just doing life, man. Having a good time, telling stories. Check out this Instagram post, blah, blah, whatever it is. That's C2, right? Let's go to C3. C3 is coach. You're the coach voice. Now, the coach speaks with authority. Not because he's the authority, but because the truth is the authority. So you speak with authority. It's a little bit more punctuated. I want you to understand this, okay? Barry, you said it. You used the power of 3, punctuation, when you said, be yourself. You said that. And you've learned that over time. It's a power of 3 and it's a punctuated coach voice. Okay. So when I'm delivering truth and I'm delivering very important information, I want you to understand clearly and be able to use, then I'm going to be the coach. Okay. If I speak as a coach and I do what's called lilting up or up, upticking, it's like, hey, I want you to understand this because it's going to be really important for your life. Suddenly all that little thing at the end where I add a little question, loop up, it casts doubt in the listener because they don't know if I know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay. So you can't do that. So coach has to go down, right? Coach has to land. Not only that, but coach has to land sometimes with space. Let it set. Make a point. and let it sink in. And you know what happens? The listener goes like this. They go, oh my gosh, I just got a little chill. Okay. That was really important. And they walk away not.
Silence, right?
What's that?
There's gold in the silence.
In the silence. Absolutely. It is like a word. I tell people, if you don't use the silence as a word in your vocabulary often, then you're undercutting your ability to communicate, right? Okay, so now let's go to C4. C4 is compelling. This is where I might be a preacher. And I'm getting big because this is really important for your life. Now, people that aren't comfortable going there, right? Because it tends to be, boom, it's a lot harder hitting, right? Compelling. You need to understand this because this could be life and death for you. If you don't learn how to hit the brake when you see that brake light up there in the freeway, you're going to be in trouble, and I want you to get it, okay? Understand that? Compelling. Now, if I'm in compelling voice, right, I'm going to be bigger. I'm going to be bigger. And if people have a hard time doing that, in the voice acting world, you give them a script and you say, Johnny, little Johnny, he's 7 years old and he just kicked the ball outside the fence and there's a big street and he and his buddies are playing soccer and he's running after the ball. And now there's a big garbage truck going way too fast. It's done. What are you going to tell Johnny? Johnny, stop. Okay. So you got to go into the zone and let your voice go there. And if you have to do it in your car or in your closet where nobody hears you, you need to practice it. So that's C4. Now, if you're using all of those and you're doing them specifically, purposefully, right? Suddenly, oh my, your audience just goes, what just happened? He's the greatest communicator I've ever heard because you just made them feel, okay? C4 is... it's a lot more complicated than that, but that's the basics. Now, it's the same way I could go into a different emotion in C1. Barry, what are you talking about? You can't do that. I'm in C1, but now I'm angry. I'm frustrated, okay? Or, oh my gosh, did you hear that joke? That was crazy. I can't believe it. So suddenly I'm wrapping emotions within each of those two. There's endless possibilities, right? But once you start experimenting with it, especially from the voice acting craft, it starts affecting your life. That's why the voice acting craft led to this book, because everybody can learn from this. Everyone can learn from this.
Well, so this book we're talking about is You Are the Message. If you're watching, you can check out the cover here. If you're listening, you can go to youarethemessagebook.com. If you just took this C4 method and that box breathing technique, by the way, there's a coach in baseball that did the box breathing, like you breathe in, run to first, hold, run to second, breathe out, run to third.
That's perfect.
It's perfect, right?
That's just perfect.
Perfect. And now the whole team is visioning themselves, doing it with
exactly.
The whole team. But if you guys just took this, if you took what you got here, but if you want to go deeper into this, like grab this book because, and I could just say that just known Joel for a while. If you want to be able to really make a difference in whatever you're doing, it comes down to these little things. Like I feel like when I first heard just the simple things, I feel like almost like a basketball player, and I was a good shooter. Mm-hmm. But then I thought, wow, if I had had a little, like just naturally, I made some shots. Boy, if I'd have had a little instruction, I'd have probably upped my percentage a little bit. That's why I think about the talks. I got some of that right, I think, just from reading people. But man, had I gone in with a blueprint, and then everything else that's in here, I just think, I know it would have been a lot different. So being a great presenter too, to me, it's like having a great quarterback on a team. Like if you can present and you can, or a great relief pitcher, like somebody that can come in and, put out the fire, calm people down. I don't know if, I don't know if you guys have this experience, but this might be a hot take. When I see someone who's not prepared for a speech, talking in confidential voice right now.
In C1. We're in C1 right now.
Yeah.
I almost get offended.
Yeah.
I'm almost offended that you didn't honor that you didn't honor your knowledge for yourself. You didn't honor your abilities. You didn't honor the audience. You didn't take care of that.
Yeah.
You know, and these are the things that can go. I would say to everybody that's listening, if you think you're a good speaker, don't take this wrong way. You're probably not. You're probably an okay speaker. This can make you a really good one. You're probably good because you're willing to get up there, and you're maybe better than other people, or you might have some advantages like maybe just having a better voice or being better looking or something like that. But that's only going to take you so far.
Yeah.
You know, at some point you got to put the goods together, and that's why when we're watching performers, you know, that's that's what we see. We see what looks seamless, and what moves us are these things. And you know how I talk about that? I think your product should disappear. Right? Like that's almost it. Like these things should be so good. Am I right here, Joel? Like these things should be so good they melt into the speech.
Absolutely. And you know, here's another, just sharing that, Paul, made me think of one other thing. People don't realize that, you know, when a room full of people is anticipating you or someone else speaking, right? So there's going to be a presentation, right? I always tell people, my students, I say, listen, the room is yours to lose. Okay? It's yours to lose. You have them. You have a room full of people that, man, as soon as you take that platform, they're expecting something because they're anticipating you're going to deliver some value, and they're excited about that, right? So they're yours to lose if you don't embrace your mission, if you don't come prepared, if you don't reveal yourself in your presentation. All those things are going to matter. So I always go, because people go, oh yeah, it just really good. You know what? If you get up there and you're hemming and hawing and you start off with, I really don't like doing this. I'm just, I'm not a speaker. And so, please forgive me don't do that. You just lost them. You just opened the door and shoved everybody out, but their bodies are still there. Okay. That's what you did. And so don't lose them. Yeah. Give them some value. Be prepared, but be yourself.
Can I ask you a question, Joel, about losing them? Because, I've trained some speakers too, but they come to me and I'll watch them. When I worked with Jack and Mark at this place, I sound like the Prince guy. Oh yes, I worked.
No, dude, you're not worthy. Not worthy. Seriously, Barry. Yeah. What a story, man. So
but they asked me to audit all the new speakers who came in. And the ones that were, oh my God, we have to keep this woman, she's amazing, or we have to keep this guy, he's amazing. It's because they did everything you just taught us to do today. And where they would lose us is when at the end they would come and they'd put their elbow on the podium and go, I'm speaking to you from my heart right now.
Oh God.
You're fired. And it's like, oh, come on. If you have to tell me you're speaking from your heart, you're not speaking from your heart.
Exactly. You're not there at all, man. You're not there at all. And and the one thing is too, people are they're so afraid to pull the audience in, with little things like, hey, what do you guys think of that? How many of you ask for a show of hands, ask for some kind of a response from your audience, because they love to be part of the whole experience. The more that you can embrace the audience with that, I call it embracing the room. You do it with your countenance. You look them in the eye. You look people individually, one by one, in the eye. You don't look over the room. You look them in the eye. Look them, and you care about them. Wow, that's interesting. I love your hat. You don't have to say that, but inside you're going, oh, that's cool. You're with me. You're with me. As soon as you're looking somebody in the eye, this is a proven fact. Okay, in a room full of people, I'm looking a person in the eye. I don't know this guy, but he's looking back at me with, attention. When I'm looking at him, I catch his eye. Suddenly, my presentation changes because I'm speaking to him. Now, everybody else, they know I'm not looking at them individually, but they know that feeling from me, the speaker. When I connect with somebody, it's so subtle that they realize that I'm speaking to them as well, one-on-one. It's the same with a camera like this thing. If I'm looking at, doing a Zoom call, I should be looking at the camera now and then to make sure I'm embracing the audience, right? Because that's a huge part of it. But I'm thinking about one person. I'm thinking about one person out there. And then I move to another person. I do the same thing. And suddenly people, they don't think about it. They just feel it. That's what this book is about. You could take this technique and go, man, I could speak to a stadium of 20,000 people. That's in here. How do I handle the green room in the backstage? What am I looking for? And should I go out and look at the space? Yes, that's all in here. You want to do a huge presentation, whether you're a musician, you're a speaker, changing the world with your speech for 20,000 people, great. If you want to affect a coffee shop with 3 people and you're having a meeting, that's in here too. This is about being human. Being fully human and fully known in situations that you and I can find ourselves affecting the world by delivering to other people, whatever the situation is. It's there. I love this stuff.
Is it too simple to say it's just a conversation? Because yeah, it is. We're having a conversation, the 3 of us, or the coffee shop, or you in a stadium full of people.
Yeah,
you're having a conversation. I just love that. Thank you so much, Joel. You're amazing.
No, you're amazing. You
are
guys,
the message,
seriously,
man. You are the message.
You are the message. Okay, Barry, you are Paul. So here's another thing too. I thought when we're talking about the book, do you guys want to go a little different direction here for a minute?
Well, I want to share with you one opening.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, there's one that Jack Canfield used to do that you can't do anymore, but it was gold. Yeah. And he would say, put your hands together, and you would see which finger. If you put your hands together like this, you'll see that one finger is longer than the other. One middle finger is longer than the other. And then he would have him grow longer, like 8 times. Then you put them back together, and you see the other one is, all of a sudden that one became longer. And then you go, whoever like the host is, say, oh, well, Barry, I showed that to Barry. He spent a half hour in the bathroom, and then I told him it just works on your fingers, Barry. So you can't use that anymore.
You can't use it.
Okay, but this is the one I love. And I'm willing to go to confession on that one.
You don't need confession. That's hilarious. That's a pass.
That's awesome.
The one I love is just going up there, and this is like where you have to have that pause and timing. I go, look, thank you very much, right, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, look, I've got a presentation obviously prepared. There's certain things I've been asked to come talk here about. But look, there's also sometimes when you have to see what's going on, and do you have a responsibility when you're in front of a group like yourselves? I've been hitting here listening to everything that's going on, listening to the conversations, and it's like sometimes there's something that, I don't know, maybe you throw me out after this, I don't know, but some things just have to be said. And then you just wait, and then you go like, oh, you should see Joel's face right now because he's worried about what I'm going to say. Okay, now let's get to the presentation. It's just, but you got to hang that. Like if you don't hang it there and just let everybody sit with, and it's great if there's cameras or something that can catch the face. It's even better. I did it doing a church thing once, and they were good with the cameras, and I told them what I was going to do, and just sitting there, boom, right on the pastor who I knew, and he's just like,
it's great, man. It's great. This stuff, I started out as a songwriter going, I'm going to write a song and move people, inspire them, do a thing. And it just kept unfolding as the years went by. And now it's like, it's all together. And this stuff is like fascinating to me. And what's weird is, so many people have taken my classes, in voice acting. And now that's led to all sorts of other things. But the one thing that they've said is, you walk away realizing that I have never embraced everything that I am fully. I've never experimented by stretching into other areas. I'm thinking about Gen X right now. All the young guys growing up, Gen Z, all these young people growing up with the cell phones. And I'm thinking they're sitting on a wall or on a bench and they're like lined up all on their phones and nobody's having a conversation, right? Yeah. It's happening all the time. And I'm going, you're not embracing what it is to be fully human. Get off your phone, man. Have a conversation. Be in a grocery line and go, hey, how's it going? Talk about, well, what's about, you know what? Just start a conversation. See what happens, man. That's the richness of life. And if you live it in this phone and in AI and everything else, man, you're never going to affect people at all. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying, man, don't do that. At some point,
we've got to communicate. But there's interesting signs, right? There's Australia just banned cell phone use under 16.
Yeah.
People are looking to get more mingling events rather than they've been kind of through the apps. the dating apps, and they're looking
Yep.
more for that. So there's certainly signs that things are maybe returning to real a little bit.
Yeah, when I was a young artist, I would take a moleskin with me all the time. I'm sure you guys did the same thing. You take, the old moleskin thing. I take a moleskin, had the little elastic band, and I go, that's really interesting. And I'd always unfold it and I'd write a little note, or I'd draw a little picture, or jot down a quote that I heard. And I stopped doing that many, many years ago. And I went, as soon as the cell phone came out, I went, this is the coolest gadget ever. Well, now all my thoughts are so lost in here, in digital space. And so I started up the moleskin again, and I'm really digging it. And I'm going, you know what? I put my phone away, and I take the little moleskin and I write notes down. Sometimes it might be part of my devotional time with God, and I'm just spending some time reading some verses or whatever. And then I just jot a few things down. Maybe it's a song I heard and I went, gosh, that really inspired this. And I write it with my hand. There's something about the tactile process of writing words down that I'm sure you guys can relate. And you go, you know what? There's something really valuable there. Boom. There you go. Post it and like it. Look at that, Barry.
This is yesterday and today.
Look at that.
Today. And here's my moleskin. I keep a stack of these. It's all the old papers I was going to throw out. My wife and I cut them up to notepads. I've got a stack of these in my bathroom, a stack in my bedroom, a stack in my office. This is yesterday and today. I call it Gmail. For those who are God people, it's God mail. If you're not a God person, it's gut mail. It's that gut feel. And
exactly.
These are just the notes that I've got. I got a Holy Spirit download on what my next book is going to be. This is yesterday and today. I sent Paul a picture this morning of the ones yesterday. I was in a coffee shop. I had them spread out all over the counter. It was, and again, so I love that. Put away the phone.
Oh, put it away, man.
Say, the big 4-letter word there is it gets lost. LOS.
Exactly.
It gets lost. Here, I got to do something with it,
Yeah.
I have a theory.
Oh, here we go.
And this is because I always like when if I'm talking to like creators and stuff, one of the things I'm always looking out for is people who are trying to be important. Because I work with important people and they're not trying to be important. If you're trying to be important, you're probably not important, right? If you're trying to be creative or look a certain way, you're probably not being creative. And so I look real deeply I've just stumbled upon this, not just been fortunate. And what they're very in tuned with capacity, limitation, and constraints. Some of that I'm fairly proud that, I've developed over the years and was able to share with them. So an instrument is potential. 24 tracks on a recording, on a soundboard, that's capacity. Right now you've got a container. And so this woman would talk about Prince, that he had to have constraints, because if you gave him 54 tracks or 64 tracks, he's going to make you a 64 track song.
Yeah.
If you give him an oboe, he's going to be over there trying to get something from it, so he's got to keep it because it'll just go everywhere. And so here's my theory. Most of the most successful people I work with don't do it the way you said. So like I've got journals and journals. I've got stacks of these pads in another bedroom back at the house. That's just, I don't know what's in all of them, but if I think of something, I know where it is. It's in there. But the phone doesn't have a capacity. I can put endless amounts. So if I'm writing something in my journal, like I have my...
This is is this C5, creating mystery?
This is C5. I'm taking notes right now. I'm taking notes.
I've got my walk around journal, right? If I'm putting something in there, it's valuable.
Yeah.
I'm not just collecting stuff because I have this unlimited capacity. This thing only has 150 pages, and I don't want to put junk in there, right? If I'm going to brainstorm, I'll just do it on one of these, right? But if it's going in here, I'm reviewing this every day.
Yep.
So now all of a sudden, this is one of the 24 tracks. I'm not putting junk on it. There has to be some type of constraint, or where does our standards and our taste and our point of view, how do we filter it if we could just have it all?
Right.
It's like, you ever been to one of those restaurants where it's just like there's a thing of olives and coleslaw and bread and
Oh,
cheese. And
yeah.
what the hell do I do? What am I
No.
doing?
And they're
Do I
not
eat
known
this?
for anything.
Am
Yeah.
I supposed to eat this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't even know.
No, it's true, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing I was thinking about, because I knew that, we've all been talking, in the group and stuff. And I was thinking, my book is way too long. It's way too comprehensive. But when Bob Phillips hit me up and I went, all right, this is kind of where my brain went, Paul, just for you. I was thinking, well, let's do a comprehensive book, right? If you wanted to be in any situation, you would find the answer in here. But this is a very exhaustive, comprehensive book when you think about it, all the way to the end. Gives you all kinds of techniques for every situation. But now I'm thinking, this is Bob Phillips. He goes, okay, you're working on your next book, right? And I'm thinking, do I have to? No, it's like,
well, tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is. So Barry's the model. Chicken Soup for the Soul came out, and Barry's book was a cup of chicken soup for the soul.
Yep.
So even though you can go backwards and do you are the message for your next board meeting, you can do a little mini.
Right. Well, and the thing and this is what I was brainstorming on this ever since we've been, meeting and connecting on this stuff. I thought, I'm just going to write, voice power for the courtroom. Part of the You Are the Message series. Voice power for a sales call. Voice power for whatever, for preaching, for the pulpit, whatever it is. Voice power to move, whatever. Just, you know what I mean? You could come out with all these different things and kind of focus them in. Because if I'm dealing with attorneys, and I've dealt with attorneys, training them, I land on C3 a lot. And they're going to go to C4 very rarely, but carefully. And then they're going to go to like C1 when it comes to, if you're doing the final argument and you have a jury in front of you, you're going to step up to that jury box and you're going to go into C1.
Here's what you need to know.
Yep, exactly. So if an attorney doesn't do that, it could be the difference between a win or a lose. And that's the bottom line. I think, man, some of these guys, and some of them have told me, said, oh my gosh, I have never heard this before. And you're not going to learn it in college. That's what's really weird. Yeah. It's a totally different process that college just does not address. Oh, you graduated with a communications degree. Good for you. You don't know any of this stuff. It's just weird. So,
yeah. Joel, as soon as you said that about attorneys and everything, my mind flashed. One of my favorite shows on TV was Bull, starring Michael Weatherly. He used to be DiNozzo. Totally. Okay.
Yep. Watched it.
So, great. And he wore the glasses, and in the very, very last episode, he put the glasses down because he didn't really need glasses, right? That was all part of his thing.
Yep.
But in one episode, he was a courtroom massagist, not misogynist, but he would manipulate to his liking. And there's the reason I'm going somewhere with this, because you have a chapter in there, and Bull would just be a master, and he would train Benny how to lean in, how to say what he wanted to say, and then go, no, you can't believe that. No. Yep. But then he got to a point where he was dealing with an arrogant lawyer on the other side, an arrogant lawyer. Like, I know I'm stretching the truth on that one, right? Okay. And he looked the lawyer in the face. They were outside the courtroom, and he says, yeah, that's a Duchesne smile. And I saw that in your book. Can you please tell us, under unspoken communication, can you please tell us how to recognize a Duchesne smile, what it is, and how we can use it?
Man, Barry, you read the detail of the book. I am just like, I'm so honored, Barry. I really am. First of all, it's great. Duchesne smile. Duchesne smile. This is an old reality that was researched by Duchesne. And it was like, it had to do with what makes a real smile. What makes a smile that really you can tell it reflects joy, true joy, or laughter, or engagement. So the Duchesne smile is not this. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, good. I'm the politician. I'm a recent guy running for New York mayor. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever. And I've got this smile like that. That is not a Duchesne smile. A Duchesne smile is genuinely an all-in facial expression smile, where my eyes get tight. Now, the thing is, a real Duchenne smile, right? You can put it on, right? You can put it on. But the reality is when you put it on, it tends to make you feel happier. It's really weird. So your eye tightens up here. You kind of get, little folds right here if you don't have too much Botox. And you're just kind of like doing the thing and you have a smile, but it's real. It's a real smile, right? I could tell, people could tell that I'm really engaged. I'm all in. I'm not doing the little courtesy smile. Yeah, good, right? The Duchenne smile, to take it further, if I'm training somebody to do voice work, to be a voice actor, and they're going to narrate a book, or they're going to narrate a part, or they're going to be somebody in a commercial, and all they have is their voice, I teach them religiously that your face has to go there. Your face and your expression and your body has to go there to wherever it is you're trying to present. Because if it doesn't, people they hear the phoniness in your voice. They just don't feel it. It doesn't connect. It doesn't sound authentic. In the same way that if I'm doing a commercial like I did before, the Carl's Jr. campaign we started with was really, Carl's Jr. It was a little bit of that devious kind of cartoony guy. And then it morphed over time, right? But it was like, oh yeah, you better listen to Carl's
Jr. Here's what I want to do, Joel.
You know what?
Joel, look, one day I'm going to be out there in LA. I'm going to stay for an extra day. And I just want to take you around and screw with people. I want to pull up to the drive-through and go, we'd like to double cheeseburger, right? And then introduce me to people like, hey, you want to introduce my friend Paul, right? And just walk around for a day and just see what happens. Like that sounds like a blast. Right?
Oh, dude, it's so
Everywhere
weird,
we go.
man. It's so
go
bizarre.
to the car wash. The car wash.
Guys, you got to do it.
Deluxe and
you got to go through the Carl's Jr. drive-through in a Ford 150 pickup truck.
Exactly.
If you did the Carl's voice to the Carl's people that would be great.
That would be great. And to film that would be really
That would
funny.
actually be a great commercial for them
That
to
would
do.
be a great commercial. That would
be a demo reel for you.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Not tell the employees and just have them go, what?
So, what? Was that
Carl?
Was that
Carl?
really? Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, so there's so much to it, you guys. Oh my gosh, there's so much to the stuff that I go, if your face is in, people feel it. But it's not just you're putting on a face. You have to go there, right? The whole idea of method acting. Now that you'll learn in college if you take, theater, repertoire, whatever. You are becoming that person as best you can. In method acting, you're going to be a frustrated, say, your character is going to be a 78-year-old man, very frustrated, very lonely. And it's like your face is going to go there, and he's probably got a saddened face, and he's very serious. And you're going to age your voice a little bit, and you're going to show that you're lonely and just talking to people. It gets really difficult for me, and because we all know what it's like to be lonely. We know what it's like to be frustrated. So you have to go to a place where you've felt that, you've been that way before, and then you deliver that character or that line, that part. Some of the stuff I did the NHL, I still do NHL stuff, but I did their 100th anniversary, and I did like 200 and some videos of players, the history of the teams. You can see a bunch of it still on YouTube. But we're getting to some of these stories of these hockey players. You mentioned Gretzky, right? So I'm doing this thing with Gretzky, and it is a feel spot, man, because Gretzky is the greatest hockey player that ever lived. Mm-hmm. I still feel that way, right? So, but it's about his life. And you talk about Wayne Gretzky. This is serious. It's not happy, but it's meaningful and it's important. Mm-hmm. And this is a life well lived. Right. So Wayne Gretzky, so there's factual stuff mixed in with the feeling of pride, the feeling of, this is an accomplishment. There's nobody like him. When they hang that jersey in the stadium and it's like this huge moment and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got chills. Well, my voice has to elicit that same feeling. Yeah. And that's really the magic in all of this stuff. is how to be able to present it and how to be able to really move people and change lives. And that's why I dig you guys, man. It's so fun doing this stuff.
Well, you're a master at this, and I just like to piggyback on what you said. I saw an interview with Ben Kingsley once, and
Yeah.
the interviewer was trying to go deep into his psyche and how do you do this and how do you do that and how did you do Gandhi? And Kingsley just looks at him and he says, I just pretend that I'm the guy.
Yeah. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You pretend you're the guy, man.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
funny because you look back in your situation in the past and you go, all right, I'm going to be fearful. Well, when I was in a situation, I was very fearful. How did I feel? Oh, it comes back to you because it's embedded in here. That adrenaline fear, it's locked in here. So I just have to kind of know where to tap in and go, oh, that's it. And that's going to be my part. Obviously you get better at it. You get less about yourself, more about the presentation as time goes by. And, but it takes practice. It takes deliberate application of methodologies. And, there's all kinds of stuff in here that I just really dig. And I'm excited about where the future is going with it. We've had some really fascinating interviews and it's still ongoing. I've got 2 more next week and I'm really digging it. It's really, really fun.
All right. Well, here's the book. I'll give you what I think is the next book for you to do, Joel. And I'll give you something I'm working on. But first, you guys should go check out You Are the Message. You can go to youarethemessagebook.com by Joel. It's just Joel and Bob Phillips. It's just great. It's you'll get so much out of it. And just what little sample of what we shared here today can make you a better speaker. Yeah. I'm going to tell you what I think would make a killer follow-up because this podcast is about books. Is those stories. I'm working on the stories from my coaching. You're going to love the title, Joel. It's called Never Piss Off a Woman with a Guitar and a Microphone and Other Things I've Learned About Coaching.
And other things I've learned about.
It's all like these little stories and stuff. Like these would be great things. All the things you've shared here. It's like, hey, this is so-and-so working with an attorney, working with an actor, a voice actor. They got to get their everything into it. This is like the stories of this would be, really would be very cool and applicable. Or maybe those could even just go into the smaller ones. Like,
There's so many of those. Barry, when you're writing a book, and Paul, when you're writing, what do you include? What do you leave out? There's all sorts of stuff like that. The book is already pretty comprehensive, and I didn't want to make it longer. So there's so many other stories that apply to the stuff we're talking about. I had during COVID, it was really interesting because everything used to be in person. Now everything's online. I still do them a couple times a year. A lot of fun because people can join from South Dakota. You can join from Canada. It's fine because you can do this business now anywhere. You don't have to live in LA. A lot of guys moved away. COVID just changed it all. Yeah. But there was a producer, actually a high executive in a major network. And she ended up taking my classes. She had heard about them from a mutual friend. And she took level 1 voice acting over Zoom, level 2. Now, mind you, she had been in major production of television shows. And when she was done, she said, I have never been stretched into areas I didn't know existed. And this is one of the best personal development classes I have ever taken. I will probably never be a voice actor, but what I learned here was absolutely invaluable. And I went, that's it. That's what drives me. And I just love doing it. It's really fun.
Well,
I have an audience. Paul's going to sell 10,000 copies of that book, Never Piss Off with a Woman with a Guitar and a Microphone, just to Taylor Swift's exes. There's 10,000 right there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I know we got to wrap it up soon, but this is a whole creative, I could open up a creative storm here, but one of my best definitions of marketing is the process of creating want. Okay. How do you we'll get into it on another episode someday, but Joel, how do you create want for people to take your classes, buy your books, and how do you do that?
So for me, we've touched on it before. First of all, you have to be yourself. And one thing the great Paul Reddick has told me and taught me in the past is you have to identify the problem. You have to identify the problem and and offer the fix, right? They have to understand that real quick, because people aren't going to connect with it unless they connect with their own desire, their own need, right? And Paul, you're so good at that, man. I mean, I'm telling you, I have learned so much from you on that. And Barry, obviously you guys go hand in hand in that same stuff. Once you identify the need and you can do it creatively in a way that they go, oh my gosh, that's my problem. I need the fix. Where is it? Right? And suddenly they're like, this is really great. When it comes to voice acting classes, the reality is most people that take the classes are never going to become a voice actor, right? They're never going to become a professional voice actor. But I've heard it time and time again that this I would never trade for anything. It helped my whole life. I've had pastors take it, numerous pastors. Oh my word, I use this in my preaching now all the time. And that kind of thing just, it cranks me up. So if I can help people identify with their need, even maybe they don't even know their need exists, but Paul, you're really good at this, being able to dial in and go, oh, well, are you like this? Well, then you have a need for this. And people go, oh my gosh, that's me. I need that, right? So yeah, that's just, for me, that's the biggest thing. Being able to say, identify the problem. What is the struggle? What is the thing that they're really dealing with that I can help them? And if I can do that quickly and get the word across, I'm not a big online major sales coach guy. I love what I do, but I do great in the voice acting world, and it consumes most of my time. But to do this on the side and watch people thrive, in the voice acting classes and et cetera, coaching, individual coaching, it just cranks me up, because I see the lights go on and I watch them take off and I go, yes, that's it. They get it. And I could die today, and I know that I left a mark. You know what I mean? It was good. So
beautiful.
Thank you, Joel.
Beautiful. All right, Joel, thank you for being here. Again, the book is You Are the Message. Go to youarethemessagebook.com. Grab yourself a copy. Joel, we're going to have you back. We have Jim Fowler next week. We've got
with all the animals.
We've got a couple of guests in between. We got to get in, But we're gonna get you back on here. We're gonna get a segment for you back on.
Oh man, I was honored. You guys, thank you.
Love you, brother. You're a good man, Joel.
Yeah, you are too, Barry and Paul. Love you guys a lot. Thank you.
All right, guys. All right.
See you next time.
Have a great rest of your day, guys.
Right.
Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
See ya.